and then we're going to go live, even though Michael's not here. So it'll be a little Michael come lately.
Okay.
He's on Madonna time.
Yeah, exactly. And we all know what that's like.
Madonna forever. Madonna forever. Madonna forever. Madonna forever.
You're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna, Louise, Veronica Ciccone. Hey, everybody, it's Stefan, and today on the show, well, we're supposed to have two people on the show today, but right now, we have one very handsome, very recognizable gentleman, Christopher Childers. Y'all should know him as one of the dancers from Madonna's Girly Show. Welcome back to the show, Christopher.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Yeah.
I think this is what, your 1, 2, 3, like fourth time on the show now, right?
Is it already? That's amazing.
I think so, yeah. Well, we're gonna get you to the magic number 5 coming up soon.
5. 5's a lucky number for me, actually. So I think we have to do
it's a
one
good
more.
Number.
Yeah.
There's no gift for 5 appearances on the show. It just sort of,
Damn.
Well, I mean, you're officially a friend of the podcast now. I mean, now it's like you're an old hat at this.
Exactly. It was so funny. Our last one, I think I was in Palm Springs on a vacation, and that was such a blast.
Which you didn't invite either of us to, come on.
Sorry. I know. Yeah.
One day we'll meet in person.
Yeah, we have to.
I have to come west again. So
you do need to come out west. We got lots of space over here. California, big spaces, and yeah.
Well, and I love the energy in California. So
yeah.
We are also supposed to be joined by one MG Gong. If you can see MG Gong, I have him in my backdrop as well. Both pictures I picked of you, guests, were scantily clad pictures today. I was like, because there's not much outfits that you wear in.
No, it's funny.
Girly Show, I mean, you do. There's costumes.
There are, but most of our wardrobe was like underwear, shorts. Like even my jean shorts, I tore off to those, and there was a lot of shorts. We did have a few costumes, but it was pretty naked.
The holiday, that whole like the pants and the jacket and that's such a great look.
It is. Yeah, I love that. I've got that costume. I'm in my costume shop right now. It's hanging on a rack over there. My La Isla Bonita actually is over there.
Oh, yeah. It's such great outfits. I love those. But yeah, so hopefully NG will join us at some point. If not, I'm fine just talking to you, Christopher.
I'm fine too. You're the best.
Well, so let's talk a little bit about the reason why we have you on the show is you have a show called Circus Freaks. Tell everyone about Circus Freaks. I know it's something that you've been doing for a while now.
Yeah. So when I was at Cirque du Soleil, when I first, oddly enough, this is such a rando. It just popped in my head. The first time I saw Mystere in Las Vegas, I was with Chris Ciccone. Because it was 1994, we had just come off tour, saw Mystere. Of course, I didn't know that, 3 or 4 years later, I'd be in the show as the Redbird. So I was performing in the show in Vegas. And, there's so many different gymnasts and dancers and, all this incredible talent. Well, believe it or not, even though it's a show like that, people get bored. So I was, working with them and dancing, and I would do dance class for them. And I thought, God, some of these, even the acrobats that are not trained dancers are great dancers. They have a sense of style. So I threw together a bunch of numbers, and O had just opened the show at Bellagio, so it was synchronized swimmers as well. And I remember I put together like a little proposal and took it to Mandalay Bay to the House of Blues, and I said, hey, would you ever consider doing like a late night benefit with a bunch of Cirque people? And they were like, yes, absolutely. So I first did it in Vegas. We did it in the year 2000. That's how long ago it was. And it ran for 5 years there. And then, of course, I left and moved, and now I'm in San Francisco Bay Area. So last year I remounted it, called most of the Cirque people. They were all like, yes, I'm there. Let us know a time. So it's our second year. So it's upcoming again this November.
I have yet to see the show because it's, again, West Coast, and I'm not West Coast. So
I know. Sorry, I'm like sucking down water because I was in rehearsal just before.
Right now you're in rehearsal.
Yeah, we are in rehearsal for Circus Freaks. So we We had done it last year. It went really well. I only did one night. Everyone was like, "You're insane just to do one night," and it was crazy. We packed the house. It was a success. So this year we're doing 3 shows. We're back at the same venue called the Foundry, which is this really cool space. It's a huge kind of industrial open with like, really high beams, and we've got projection on both walls.
Oh, nice.
Really cool bar on the one side. So the owner loves the show. So it looks like it's probably going to be a yearly thing, hopefully.
So are there Madonna tributes in Circus Freak?
Yes, there are, because when you dance for her and that like her music is so iconic and amazing. It's funny, last year Kevin Stay, who was in Blonde Ambition, of course, he's coming back this year as well. So last year him and I did a little Vogue tribute between Girly Show and Blonde Ambition, kind of our 2 styles, and we put it together. Which was a blast. He's such a lovely human being. So he's coming back. He's not doing a Madonna tribute this year, though. But he's doing a ton of other
He's
stuff.
expanding his repertoire. It's
exactly. Exactly. So, yeah.
What are you able to, do you give a clue as to, is there a Madonna tribute in it this year?
There is. It's kind of it's a tribute to her brother.
the late Christopher Ciccone.
Yeah, it's funny, when I spoke with MG, we both, of course, all of us in Girly Show, it was such a pivotal time in our life, and it was so incredible. Their relationship, and Chris and Madonna, the way that they were so kind to each other. There was this nice back and forth, and I think that's why the show was so magical, at least for me. They had this great rapport. She was amazing. She looked so great in that show, and it was just a gift for all of us. So when I mentioned this to Michael, he's like, "I want to come dance. Let's do something for Chris." He's like, I should let him tell the story, but he has a story about he wasn't supposed to really do the show, and Chris really worked on his side. I'll save it just in case he comes out.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say when.
Yeah, he's shooting in New York City right now. I do know
maybe
that.
he's delayed on set.
Exactly.
I know how that goes. Well, yeah. So I have to say I loved your posts after Chris Ciccone passed away. I thought they were really heartfelt and like beautiful tributes to a time that you had spent with him.
Thank you.
Were you in touch with him? I know we had tried to get him on the Girly Show reunion, and because he was not feeling up to it, he wasn't able to join, which was unfortunate. But I mean, and I said this when we did the episode about him and Madonna's creative relationship, that he had sort of texted Nikki during the Girly Show reunion to sort of just chime in and say hi, which I thought was sweet.
Yeah.
Had you been in touch with him since the Girly Show reunion?
Yeah. What was funny was he called me. First, he called me out of the blue, which I posted about. I hadn't seen Christopher Ciccone on my phone since forever. And I was in rehearsal for a show that I was choreographing. And I'm like, holy shit. I literally had 5 minutes to rehearsal. I'm like, everybody, hold on. I took this call and we had this great conversation. He did tell me his diagnosis at that time, which of course just completely shocked me. We had worked together on that Pose FX job in Los Angeles just a few years before. I think it was probably 2018, 2017. And he was okay then, like I as well as we all are getting older and doing our things. And so it was quite a shock. He kind of just said it. He told me, and then he wanted to talk about other things. So I didn't ask any more questions, but he had told me that. And then I got a few texts from him. One of them was that he was going to be doing some treatment in Los Angeles. And he said, maybe you can come down while I'm doing that. And I thought, God, that'd be great. I would love it. But I never heard back from him. So, yeah. And then, it was also that thing of it hit me. But then I think because of the outpouring of friends and people that knew him and knew, when they all started writing and texting, then I was like, holy shit, it kind of hit me,
Yeah. Yeah. Losing someone that you had a tight relationship with, even if you haven't spoken to them or been in the same proximity with them for a while, it reminds us of our own mortality in a way, like where we're at and how fortunate we are to keep going in a way, like I know so many guys and women who I went to college with or, you know, are around the same age as me and they're no longer with us. And I'm like, it's just bizarre to think like, you don't think of that when you're, you know, whatever you're doing with them, a show or in a
Right.
class, or, and then when they pass away, it's, you can take stock of your own existence and look back on the good times that you had with them as well.
Yeah, and I think for something as big as that job was, I think for me, you know, it's not, I wanted the tribute to just, I did a little post about him, and I've got so many pictures with him, and we've got, you know, I've got a whole scrapbook of these incredible pictures. But to me, it was more just kind of like, I wanted to go back. It took me back when he passed. Of course, I was like right back and just thinking about all the amazing things we got to do and all the incredible direction that, you know, he gave us. And, you know, he wasn't soft with anything. He was like, you know, this is bullshit. Like, get out there, do your thing. Because, you know, some countries we had the protests, you know, we've talked about this. And, you know, it was my first time doing a big tour, and it was major in the sex book. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to get, you know, shot in the back if I run out for the crazy fan. You know, it was all those kind of thoughts. He was like, quit that. Like, get out there, focus. You know what you're here to do. And that was the kind of memories that flooded back, and it just hit me. And it was really, it was a bummer. It's a bummer he's gone. But I am grateful we had that time, you know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if you know Sebastian Lacaze. He danced with Madonna and Luca in the Bedtime Story Brit Awards performance, and he had I think he was supposed to be on. I want to say he was supposed to be involved in Girly Show, and then
yeah, that's right.
I forget, something happened and like he wasn't able to do it, or like I forget, but I think he like missed the boat on Girly Show.
Right.
But he had posted something just the other day on Instagram. I mean, he reposted it, but about time and how like time is like just a social construct. Like we've made it up. Like time doesn't really exist. It's like everything in your life is happening all at once. And like, I guess our brains are too finite to understand how that works or be able to see it. So we think time is linear, but it's not. And I just thought about that for a second, because when something pivotal like that happens, when you lose a loved one, I do often feel like you can time travel back to that moment where like it's like this out of body experience that you just like suddenly you're there. And
totally.
It's, I love when that happens, when you can like so viscerally feel like you're back in that moment. And I'm like almost as if like what you're doing just sort of like shuts down, like you just sort of stare off into space and your mind time travels back to that time. So
totally.
Hopefully you were able to relive some of those wonderful moments.
I was, you know, and the nice thing about MG and I talking on the phone about Chris, because, you know, of course, I had my own reality on tour, as did all the other dancers. There were some things that he shared with me that, of course, I didn't know about their relationship. And we just kind of, I don't know, we fed off each other. And before I knew it, he was like, well, we have to do something in your upcoming show. And I thought, God, we do have to do something.
So since he's running late, we're just going to proceed with as if he's going to show up. It'll probably it'll be like the last 5 minutes, and he'll be like, "I'm here."
Right, exactly.
So tell me, so you and he decided to do a number to pay homage to him? Is it like a Madonna number? Is it, or can you tell us about it?
It is a piece from Girly Show, but it's kind of a mashup. And yeah, we've got the venue has two big, large projection walls on both sides. You know, I have so much video from the Girly Show times, and so I think I'm going to
put
together
your own video.
My own. So
like VHS video that you were like.
No, it's like it's like the little High 8. I think that's what it's called. Video. Because I had my camera for that whole tour. I've got hours and hours and hours. But I do have some
of what, like BTS?
Yeah. So we're going to do like a little video tribute, and then we're going to do this little mashup. It won't be that long, but I have some dancers in the back that'll be kind of holding. It's going to be emotional, actually, now that I think about it, because I'm just in creative mode. But yeah, just a little tribute, a little thank you, because it was such a big part of our life.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, is it a fast song or a slow song?
It is a fast-ish song.
Okay.
Should I tell you?
Oh, you can if you want. I mean,
We're doing a kind of a a fever kind of. I'll just say it's in the realm of fever,
okay.
but it's a little bit more divided up and in little chunks. Yeah, it's I don't know.
And so you and MG will both be in this? Oh, nice.
Yeah, him and I will do that side by side. So yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be good. He's just the one thing I do remember about MG, and he was such a giggler. He still is. He's just always laughing. He's like, I'm full of shit. Like he's always so fun and so crazy. And he was just so open to this. And I thought, well, that's so lovely, So yeah, it's going to be nice.
You haven't been in person with him since end of the show, the end of the Girly Show,
which is a couple of years ago.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. Yeah, we saw each other, of course, at the through the podcast on the reunion,
right.
And that was it. And I haven't seen him in forever, but he's just been so busy. But he was like, "Let's make this happen." He's like, "We're not getting any younger." I said, "You're totally right." So,
that's amazing.
Nice. Yeah. So we're doing 3 shows, November 8th, 9th, and 10th here in San Francisco. Yeah.
And how do people? I mean, you can just buy tickets online. Where do you go?
Yeah, if you go on thecircusfreaks.com, it's got all the info on there. You can see the lineup of people. We've got some incredible dancers and circus acts and singers and comedians. Yeah. So
it's like a whole bunch of different types of performers.
It is. So I've got the LA group coming in as well, which is like Kevin Stay, and Kim is actually in New York. Kim Hale, she's a social media sensation. Robin Anton from Pussycat Dolls, Lisa Ratson, who's a friend of mine. We're all, we all go back so many years before we all started doing these big jobs. So when I called everybody, they were like, of course we're going to come do it. And we had so much fun last year. Everybody said yes again. So they're all coming back.
Is it like riding a bike, Chris? You just like when you went to go out and perform, or do you have to work a little harder these days?
Oh yeah, it's definitely harder. There's also though a joy that's different at this age. Like, I don't know. I feel like everyone's sort of doing it for themselves in the best way possible. Like, I still teach and stuff, but when you're dancing and feeling the way you are at this age, it just feels more personal. And I think that's palpable. I really think the audience feels that. It's awesome to see 20-somethings killing it, but it's also a little bit more relatable, I guess you could say, when you see people when they have these great backgrounds as well, but also at this phase of your life, it feels good. And I think people pick up on that. You know?
I mean, because you've been dancing for ages. And
I'm going to dance into a casket, literally, in the splits.
But I mean, we had talked about when we had you on the show, giving your review of the Celebration tour, we were sort of talking about the fact that it's like, Madonna's 65 now, and she was out there singing and dancing for 2 hours. And like,
amazing.
How long are you on stage during the Circus Freaks show?
It's about an hour and a half. But there's so many acts and numbers and stuff. So, I'm doing kind of the opening with the group dancers, and then our tribute will come towards the end of the show. But yeah, I always take on too much. I'm like, well, let's keep doing,
yeah.
And then the list of stuff, it's quite long, but I'm excited. I want to make it work, and I want to have a really good show. It's election year. People need it, right?
We need a little something to. Oh, I know. So your shows are coming.
Oh my God.
Your shows are coming the week of the. I mean, who knows if we'll even know what's happening by that point? I mean, we could. It could be a week or two before we know what happens with the election.
I have a feeling it's going to be that, don't you? Because it's never. Plus, it's him. So it's
with this crazy election cycle, I wouldn't. I would expect nothing less than chaos and craziness.
So. I think so.
Well, how is everything on the West Coast? Like, what's it feeling like in San Francisco?
I mean, I've definitely tuned it out because I'm working on the show, and it's a blessing because I do get so emotional and upset at I can't go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, it's fired up here. I think people are feeling it. It's definitely, there's a big fear of what if.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, we don't get political on the podcast, but around this time, I'm just like, yeah, no. It's a scary time, and like
it really, it's
like if you're not voting blue and you listen to this podcast, Like get off the streets, kids.
Something's wrong. Why would you be on here anyway?
If you're not voting blue and you're listening to this show, something's wrong with you.
Well, it's funny, and I have to share this with you because my favorite in Celebration Tour, of course, was her erotica, the boxing, because of course Luca and I boxed in the show, and I loved it. And I'm doing a big finale, which is a boxing finale. Thanks to her that take on it with those beautiful the boxing rings and the lines that were all projection.
Wasn't that
I just
great?
thought,
it's so beautiful.
It was so phenomenal. So yeah, I'm doing a little tribute. And it's not only a tribute to, boxing and erotica and all that, but it's also like, I feel like we've all been boxing this year. Like everybody's beat up. So there's a little, we're going to have like black eye on one side and boxing gloves and everything. We're doing this big dance at the end. So I feel like it's kind of a reflection of where we're at, art imitates life, as they say.
For sure. Yeah. Well, that's fun. I mean, I'm sorry I won't be able to view the show. Well, is there a way to watch this, or is it like, do you capture video and post it later? Or
we do. What's funny is we were going to do a live stream to the front because there's a lounge area in the front. It's a benefit for San Francisco has a incredible shelter called Muttville, and they rescue senior dogs. They're also a no cage. They're the only one in the United States, and they have this massive place where you can go play with the dogs. So it's a benefit for them. So the tickets are a little bit higher. So we were going to do a projection or like a live stream into the front. So I think we're going to get a recording of it for sure.
Oh, nice. Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, just, if you wanted to raise more money, there's always the way you offer the live stream and let people, pay tickets and then they can watch it. You never know.
That's a great idea too. And it's such a good cause. They do great work with those dogs. So
that's fantastic. I love, it's great that there's philanthropies out there of such different ranges of things where you don't think about that. You're like, oh, old dogs,
Right,
it's great that there are people who care about that type of stuff.
I know, and so many people just give them away, or they're too old and they release them in the street. I mean, some of these dogs, it's just devastating. Yeah. So it's good to know this year that our sweat and work is going to that. So
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I guess MG's not joining us. I was going to say I don't even have a number to text him or call him.
Well, I'm on my phone because my laptop crashed. So I would call him I would text him from my phone, but I can't currently.
Oh, MG! I'm sure he'll have a lovely story about why he wasn't able to make it.
He will. He will. Well, I so appreciate that, Stefan. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, as soon as we end this, he'll be like, "I'm here now."
Right.
I'm like trying to hang on. I'm like, "All right, MG, let's go." I mean, we thankfully we have him in his scanties with Madonna in the Fever number.
Looking amazing.
In my
that
backdrop.
boy's body. I used to look at him and be like, "Oh shit, I got to take my shirt off with him." Like,
what are your costumes for this? Are you going to be scantily clad?
No, we're going to be in black. We're going to do a black theme, probably like a cool vest with no shirt, and probably long pants, black. We're going to go more conservative because we're older. You never know. He may be like, "Let's wear our underwear." I'll be like, "Okay."
Sure, why not?
Why not? Whatever. Yeah.
I would need to prepare for that a little bit. Like if somebody was like, "Okay, Stephanie, you're gonna have to dance in your underwear," I'd be like, "I'm gonna need a little bit of time to prepare."
Couple of weeks of squats, couple of weeks of I'm like,
okay, I'm gonna cut out some processed sugar and I'm gonna hit the treadmill in the morning and the night. And I would need to.
Well, it's funny, I quit after last year. My disc, I have that disc bulge, that little tricky disc bulge. It was kind of in bad shape. And my friend who's a PT is like, "Do you drink a lot?" I said, "Well, not really, but I like my vodka soda." And he said, "Well, try not drinking." So I stopped January 8th of last year. And my back pain is like, I sound like a commercial, but the inflammation is like gone.
Oh, wow.
So it's just kind of a different, so just that too. And it, when I drink, I crave sugar and all this stuff I shouldn't have. So that's
fried food. Yeah. It's always
totally.
It's such a slippery slope.
It is.
Starts with that G&T and then.
Yep, exactly. Well, dancers, because we're always like starving our careers, and then you get off stage, you're like, I want to eat. We were hungry during Girly Show. I was starving.
What's so funny is, sorry, my my video tends to freeze for some strange reason. I don't know. I think because she posted those pictures of, I don't know if you saw her Madonna posted those pictures of her topless eating that soup. I don't know if
I haven't seen those. Oh my God.
she posted them in her story, but it made me think about the famous scene where she's eating soup
Oh, yeah.
in Truth or Dare, talking to her dad on the phone.
Totally.
And then my mind went to, well, I wonder what they eat during the show. What did you eat during Girly Show? Like, because I assume it was all like catered food for you, right?
It was. We had her chef. He was fantastic, of course. But, he could, if you were vegan, vegetarian, or a meat eater, he had everything for everybody. Yeah, I feel like we ate, earlier. We do the run through. I think we would grab, I don't know, we were there like for the run through like 2-ish. Do that. I think we would eat and then take a nap and then dance on an empty stomach. But of course, you don't want to eat after, because that's if you go to bed, like eating. You know how that is. It's like, I'm getting thicker. I don't know why. You know what I mean? So I just remember a lot of nights going to bed with my stomach kind of like, I want more food.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, because you must be burning so many calories.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally burning calories. But also, we're shirtless the whole time. So it's like, I feel like back then too, people are so different. Like you were talking about Hugh Jackman before. And of course, when you have that kind of trainer and people that help you achieve that goal, like I think now with the way things are, like I bet touring is different. I bet the whole thing is different. But back then it was like, if you want to be thin, you just didn't eat as much. That's
right.
That's how it was.
So did they not have a staff trainer that would like oversee your workout regimens?
We did. Well, she had her trainer, which was Ray, I think his name was. God, that's a good question. Now I'm drawing a blank on that.
I know she does, but I'm always curious, like if the dancers have somebody that like when the trainer's finished with Madonna, like they don't go and train the dancers and we're like, okay, here's what we're gonna do.
Right. No, it wasn't like that. In fact, we had our own, I think just our own individual workouts that we would do at the gym. That's such a good question. It's so weird. Yeah, we didn't have anybody. Jesse was our massage therapist.
Right. Like obviously you had somebody if you were injured or if you needed like a therapy of some sort, but it was, I guess there was no
well, and the funny thing is Chris Ciccone, of course, Madonna, we were all running. Chris got me into running. I never ran in my life. Dancers, it's such a foreign thing to us to be like running on your feet. I don't know, for me, but then I got into it and then it was like, you could eat a little bit more because running is just burns all the, burns everything.
Well, yeah, when we did our tribute episode to Christopher Ciccone, we read a segment from his book where he talks about how in the morning Madonna would make him run like after breakfast. And so he was always like, I as much as I wanted to eat so much food in the morning, I wouldn't because I didn't want to like throw up after having to run all these miles with Madonna. Was that like something like, were you joining her or were you doing that on your own?
We did. No, Chris and I would go often together. We did have one time where we ran with her. I do remember in South America, I think we were in Sao Paulo. We were like in some rainforest and we kept going and going. And I remember that particular city, I finally understood the zone where your brain, I don't know, like it doesn't, it's work, your body's going, but you're just at peace and you can keep going and going and going. And I was with Chris for that. We did have her bodyguard a couple of times when him and I would run, mostly in South America. Yeah, but I tribute Christopher for getting me into running. Of course, Madonna got him into it. He got me into it. Crazy. Now I don't run.
I was gonna say I've never enjoyed running. It's just it's hard on my joints.
It hurts. It definitely hurts. But
in the small instances where I have done some running, I have experienced that little runner's high that apparently you get, and it was enjoyable.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, MG.
MG. So disappointing. All of our legion of listeners tonight. Sorry if we're able to. Actually, we're gonna strong arm him into doing us a little video for at least Instagram or something, so he can be with us. Remind everybody again. So it's November
8th, 9th, and 10th. If you're in the Bay Area, come see us. It's at the San Francisco Foundry on Folsom. The website is thecircusfreaks.com for more info and tickets. We're doing a Friday night, a Saturday night, and a Sunday twilight show, which is like 4 p.m.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see pictures. Take lots of pictures and hopefully
You
video
will.
as well. I'm really fascinated to see this the Super 8 film stuff that you've got going on.
Stefan, you would lose your mind. I have, it was funny. I asked, sorry to go on another tangent, but I had asked Chris to ask Madonna at the very beginning if it's okay if I bring my camera, and she was like, "Well, what's he going to shoot?" And he said, "Oh, just like I don't know, hotels and like arenas." And she's like, "Oh, that's fine." I have hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. You would lose your mind.
So you could basically put together like your own version of Truth or Dare.
I really could. It's funny because I've got, when we were in Paris, like I've got Nikki, I've got Paul Pesco, everybody doing silly stuff, talking to the camera. I've got so much.
Is there
footage.
audio?
There's audio. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you
do need to come to California because also
to watch this. Yeah. We're gonna make a big old tub of popcorn, and we're just going to sit in a room and you're just going to cue it all up.
And even stuff I had forgotten, like at the Blue Mosque in Istanbul, Carlton and I are in there doing like handstands and Chris is running around. I've got so much footage. And then I have the photo album of all the, he shot from the pit. And I have all those pictures. Christopher generously gave me a whole set. So I've got that entire set of close-ups of her and us. And yeah, I've got that whole album.
So sorry, we're going to brainstorm this live. This is what the Girly Show reunion needs to evolve into. Like you should do some sort of for the 35th anniversary, have some sort of edited version of this and then get all the folks in the room to watch this footage. They would trip out.
I think they really would, because of course we all look 12 years old. It was so long ago. But I do have an insane amount of footage. I just kept filming everything. I tried, there were times when I couldn't for sure, but in the police, in the is it a cavalcade? What do you call that when you're in the car?
Oh yeah.
My brain, sorry, I'm creating another show, so I'm like, bleh. But I've got you would just love it. You would love to just sit and go.
This will be worth coming out to San Francisco for sure.
Well, it's a date, so you let me know. We'll make it happen for sure.
Oh yeah. Is Madonna in any of the footage?
A little bit, just mostly. I might have one dressing room shot very quickly, but most of it is, run through on stage. I've got her from on mic, kind of just rehearsals from the back, but it's still cool. I've got Carrie Ann coming down the pole. Yeah, Carrie Ann rehearsing her pole. I've got all of that.
And see, that's the beauty of that time is that we didn't have social media. We didn't have the internet, so none of it exists. It's not like people could be like, oh, Facebook memories is reminding me 20, 30 years ago.
Nothing. You're right. Nothing.
So it's you have you need to get this transferred over digitally or something, preserve this. I'm not kidding. Madonna fans would love to see this in some way, shape, or form. Somehow this needs to come out.
I have, of course, I've got the Michael Gregory, MG Gong, took me on a tour of the stage. We go under. I've got so much stuff.
Seriously, people would love this. I don't know how it could get released because I'm
so much footage.
I'm sure her lawyers would be like,
right. Yeah, exactly.
They're going to come. But right. This is it would be so fascinating to see this.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. I have a lot. It's amazing how many tapes I've got. I've got at least 6, and they're 2 hours each, at least. Packed.
Oh yeah, we could edit it down and then do some talk. So this is what the project is. We're going to edit it down to show highlights of this. We're going to interview each one of the people who were involved in the Girly Show, the Girly Show reunion, and just do talking heads. And then we'll also have the reunion, and it'll be you all watching some of the footage again. It'll be fantastic.
Oh my God, it's great. That's a great idea.
Watch this space, everyone.
Yeah,
you heard it here.
Yeah,
we're going to start a GoFundMe to.
Do you know what's so sad? It's literally that in the Christopher's book that he gave me, my photo book. It's sitting in a closet right now, just collecting dust. But I'm a pack rat. I save everything. I have everything. Even the other dancers are because the costume she gave me, I've got everything. I sold my coat. when I needed some money. My holiday
well,
coat.
as one does, you know.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
also
the holiday coat. Oh
yeah,
no.
which I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't sell that sucker. But
Yeah.
all the costume, I keep things. I'm very and now I have the costumes.
And you have all the merch too, right? Like
Yes.
I'm wearing my
There it is. Beautiful.
vintage Girly Show
Oh,
T-shirt
I love it.
that I
Yeah.
like literally never been worn vintage Girly Show. I found it like
Such a
last
good
year.
one.
Yeah,
I love it.
right before the Girly Show reunion. I was like, oh yeah, I'm buying this. But yeah, you have all like the original merch still too,
I do.
right?
I have the original merch, of course, my shorts, the boots, all the footwear. I've got all the costumes. Yeah, I have everything.
That's amazing that I'm surprised they let you keep that.
She gave us a full set because we had 3 sets for the whole tour.
Okay, so she has her own.
Yeah, I think one set got donated to like the big
to like the Smithsonian or something.
Yeah, Justify My Love. Yeah.
Honestly, when she had done the sex book photos, they redid the sex book and they put it it was at Art Basel just last year. Some people were like, oh, we'd love to see this as a road show. And I was like, yeah, like do that. And then just like a Madonna tour costume exhibit where it'd be like all of her tours, just do all the costumes. Like
that would
be
idea.
Fantastic. Like you know how like the Met Gala does that where like they do the costume exhibit. Like just do a Madonna like exhibit of that type of stuff. Like I would go see that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that would be incredible. Oh my gosh, such a good idea. I
honestly, Chris, I'm filled with them. I don't know why her team doesn't bring me on, and I'd like to. I would be the person to do all this.
I know. Well, I will say, and I want to say this while I'm on here, is that Christopher's husband Ray, I did ask him if it was okay, and he was very sweet. He wrote back, absolutely. Because I just like you said, you never know with videos and things, and if I use footage if people are going to freak, and he gave us his blessing, which meant a lot to me.
That's great. Oh, so that's good that he knows.
Yeah.
Have you met him?
I haven't. No, not in person.
So again, that's nice that he was willing to, like, even though you don't know him personally.
Yeah, it was nice. He's like, I know exactly who you are. Chris talked about you fondly, which was very sweet. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, boo to MG Gong.
I know
he's on our shit list. Boo.
Love you. You're gonna have to do a whole bunch of high kicks when you get here, my friend.
Yes. Now he's gonna have to take his shirt off in the show.
Exactly. Right.
You weren't gonna have him shirtless in the show, and now as payback.
He's shirtless.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, MG. We threw your shirt out.
Oh, thank you so much. This was such a joy to see you again. It's always easy to talk to you. I just love it.
I mean, anytime. You're a friend of the podcast. You're always welcome on the show. So
thank you.
If MG actually finds his way to a Zoom at some time in the near future, he can come on. Remember, everybody, you can find us on Instagram, X, and Threads at MLVC Podcast. If you'd like to donate to the show, we're on Venmo at MLVC Podcast. If you've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, tick that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Otherwise, if you are in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, go check out Circus Freaks with Christopher Childers. It'll be a wonderful, not to be missed show. And then post pictures so we can see the wonderful screens. And,
you got it. I promise. I will do that.
You stay there. We're going to end the live, and we're going to kiki for just a second afterwards. But until next time, everybody.
Bye.